Well, happy Monday and welcome to Mondays with Michael Live here on Facebook. I hope everyone had a great weekend, and a special shout out to all my friends who are Eagle fans and know it's been a long time coming and many years of waiting, but the Eagles are our Super Bowl champions. So congratulations. That said, I think the best commercial for me yesterday was, of course, the Eli Manning commercial with Odell Beckham. I think they take the champion when it comes to commercials. So hope everyone had a great time. Enjoy the Super Bowl. And back to work today if you're back to work today. So today's session, again, is for supervisors. We're spreading it out a little bit. And today's session is for supervisors, and it's on performance management and why it's important to your organization. Here over the years, last couple of years, we're reading articles where some of these management consultants think that managing performance and performance management is a bit passe, that we shouldn't be doing it annually. We shouldn't be doing it regularly. People should know what's expected of them. And to be in this entrepreneurial spirit, that the whole performance management thing needs to go away. And I'm here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that's a bunch of bunk. If you're not managing your people's performance, you're not giving them feedback on a regular basis, you're not coaching and trying to get them to the next level, why have them on your team? So let's talk about that a little bit here in the room. So again, I'm going to go through my notes a bit, give you some tips at the end, and I'll give you a resource from our website to help you in managing performance of your employees. So why is performance management important? Well, really, I have it really down for two reasons why it's important. It strengthens the relationship you have with your direct reports individually, strengthens that relationship, and it really helps them to increase productivity. They need to know where they stand so they can increase their performance. If you're not having these regular conversations with them, you're not managing their performance, not setting goals, they really don't know where they stand. They come into work in the morning, they go to their desk, kind of start banging out the work they got to do. And unless you're having these regular conversations with them and managing their performance, giving them feedback, especially for millennials, we'll talk a little more about that, they're not going to be as productive. You want to make sure that they're producing at a high level. So let's talk about the performance management meeting. So a couple of things you need to do before you sit down with your employee. First thing I have on my list is to do a self-evaluation for you, the boss. Yes, I know there's no documentation to do the self-evaluation, but you really need to do a self-evaluation. Have you given your direct report everything they need, including emotional support, to be successful in their job? Have been all the tools given to them? Have you been there for them? Have you had these conversations on a regular basis? So do a little self-reflection before you sit down with your employee. Second thing you want to do is have your employee do their own self-reflection. Some organizations actually hand out the evaluation form that's going to be used in the meeting, whether that be quarterly or annually, and have the employee fill it out to do some self-reflecting. And whether it's formally with a document or giving them some time to do this, you want to give them some time to self-reflect. So you don't want to have this meeting on a Tuesday morning when the employee comes in and you tell them, oh, by the way, we're doing your performance management meeting today. Don't want to do that. You want to give them a couple of weeks to prepare. Again, you also want to do that self-reflection. Where do you want to have this meeting? You want to have this meeting in a relaxed environment. And try not to have this in your office unless you really, really need to. Or if you have a table in your office, you can do it there. That's great. Don't do it from the other side of the desk. We talk about this in coaching all the time. Don't you be on one side of the desk and the employee be on the other side of the desk. Try to sit on the same side, the same side, put that in quotes. Be on the same side of the employee. Create a relaxed environment. Grab a cup of coffee. Turn the phone off. Turn your email off. And just be there for the next hour or so just for your employee to talk about their performance. You want to make this a two-way communication. You want to get feedback from the employee. So this isn't just the boss talking at the employee. This is you and the employee talking to each other, having this back and forth communication. What's happening? This is going well. This maybe could do a little better here. This isn't going well. Let's talk about that a little bit. So you want to set the stage and get ready for this productive performance management meeting. So what do you want to discuss? Well, you want to look back over the previous period or the previous couple of weeks or couple of months, whatever the period is for you. Take a look back and talk about how well they did over the last time period. And if they did well, obviously give them that feedback. If they didn't do well in certain areas, you definitely want to give them that feedback too. But you also want to look forward. It's not just a looking back, it's a looking forward. So what's going to happen over the next 3 months, the next 6 months, the next year that this employee needs to work on to take their performance to the next level? You want to evaluate the performance, not someone's personality. So it's what they do more so, or what they say, rather than just some personality quirk that they may have. So you want to manage performance, not personality. So again, we talked about achievements, giving them those kudos, the feedback kudos, but also remember if you need to give them some criticism, you have to be able to give them some criticism too. In this particular case, my expectations were you were going to handle this a little better, you were going to perform a little better, you would have got this on time a little quicker. Those types of things are also important to talk about, but you want to balance that out. You want to balance that out. You want to build on strengths. If an employee is doing something well, how can you build on that strength in other areas that they're responsible for? So you always want to try to build on strengths when you can. You want to talk about career pathways. So if this employee is new or they're moving up the ladder, the chain, if you will, in the organization, what do they need to work on from a career development perspective? Which leads into personal and skill development. Whether it's a technical skill they need to work on, something that's software related or technology related, or some type of behavior they need to work on, whether it be a leadership skill or supervisory skills, what skills do they need to work on over the next period to get to the next level in their career? Because, I mean, let's face it, everybody wants to get ahead, or at least most people want to get ahead, especially if they're early on in their career. Employees that have been around a little longer may not want to go up the career ladder, but there's still areas for them to better their skills, and you want to look for those opportunities for them to increase their skills. You want to start setting some goals for your employees, whether it's annual or quarterly. You want to start setting goals for your employees. We use the SMART acronym, so we want to set SMART goals for our employees: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic to the employee, and time sensitive. You want to set up some SMART goals for your employees between today and the next performance review or the next performance meeting. Have some SMART goals. Have some SMART goals. Be honest with the employee. Be helpful for the employee. What can I do to get you to perform at a higher level? What do you need from me? What do you need from others? Maybe it's another department that's hindering this employee to getting their performance up to the next level. What specifically do they need to take their performance to the next level? How often should you have these meetings? This is, again, another topic of discussion I hear fairly regularly. A lot of organizations do the annual review because it's tied to annual compensation and benefits. So they sit down with an employee for an extended period of time to have this overall discussion of whether the employee gets an annual raise, bonus, or something else along that type of incentive. Most organizations today do some type of annual performance review, whether it's on paper pencil or whether it's electronic. A lot of organizations do these kind of mini performance meetings, whether it's quarterly, monthly, and in some cases every other week, just to check in and see what people are working on to kind of manage that performance. So we found with millennials, obviously they need feedback on a more regular basis, on a more consistent basis. So you may do this weekly with millennials or every other week. But again, you may get to a routine where every quarter you have this formal sit-down meeting where the employee prepares, you prepare, and you have this meeting where you just sit down and have this conversation about how's it going, how you measure performance. Who should be involved in this meeting? Well, obviously you and your employee needs to be involved in this meeting, but depending on what the employee does for you, they may interact with other departments. So it's important to get feedback. Let's say your employee works with finance or works with marketing or works with HR or works with IT or works with the client. It's always good to get feedback from those other parts of the business that interact with your employees so you have a well-rounded picture of this person's performance when you sit them down and you give them feedback on how they're doing. So those are just some of my tips on managing performance. As I said, it's something that should get done on a regular basis. Should be on the schedule. Should be on the schedule for you and the employee. I'm going to give you a resource today. One of our video DVD online programs is called Care and Candor. It's the human touch, if you will, in managing performance. So we're going to put that in the chat box here for you, so you have a resource that you can tap into before you do your next meeting. Our next session next Monday, we're going to go back to the employee base. So we did something for supervisors this week. We're going to go back to the employee base next week. And our sessions will be on productive conflict. For those of you who use DISC or part of the DISC family, you know that DISC, the Wiley folks who produce DISC, have put out a new assessment last fall called Productive Conflict. It's really for the individual. It's a bit of emotional intelligence and how do I control my emotions around a conflict situation. We'll do that next Monday here in the room. Mondays with Michael live here on Facebook. So I wish you all a great week. Have fun. Look forward to seeing you next Monday here live in the Training Solutions room. Take care and make it a great week.